Mike, thanks for joining us. Congrats on clinching playoffs today. Go ahead and just start us off with your thoughts and how you're feeling.
Feeling pride comes to mind. It's probably the first thing. Just really happy for the group. We put a good week of work in and started the game much better from where we had been last week, how we wanted to start the game. We had a plan, we had a structure, we stuck to that. We made some slight adjustments in terms of how do we then exploit their press. But yeah, just really happy. We'll enjoy this, but we've got one more game next week that we need to take care of, and that'll be the focus once we've recovered a little bit. And yeah, it's on to the next one.
Okay, we'll open it up to questions.
Hey Mike, congrats on the win. Midfield seemed like it really was able to control the match for a lot of this one, and it ended up sort of being the difference. Can you point to specific areas that you noticed in that phase of the game?
Yeah, so I would say with that, there were some areas which we wanted to exploit with them. Just in terms of how they press, we wanted to play beyond it. We wanted to build with 5 and not 6 to beat their press. So there was some really good structure and discipline from the 3 midfielders. Then we got into the 2v1s on the side that we wanted to create with the midfielders. And that's where we felt we could exploit. And yeah, we just had some real good balance, some good structure. But yeah, I'd agree with, I think we won that midfield battle today. Towards the end, we were hanging on a little bit, but we dug in. Professional performance from the group and bringing on the quality that we did have off the bench to close out the game is a huge plus for us.
Right, and one of those midfielders, Olivia Molter, had a big night, was involved in a lot of what the team did. Almost got herself a goal on that one. Just your thoughts on her stepping in, obviously not having started in a while, but getting in there and putting in that performance.
Yeah, listen, she's been chomping at the bit for that. Made the decision to bring Liv in. I think she's shown what she can do. She brought that discipline in the midfield. She did the defensive side of the game as well, put her body on the line. But yeah, I mean, we could point to everybody, but yeah, she stepped in a big time of the season. Like for a young player, I think you have to acknowledge the pressure that comes with, and then to be able to just step into that arena out there and to produce what she did, she's got to be happy with that.
And obviously this result giving you guys a chance to, still end up getting the Shield at the end of the season, which has been the goal, since the beginning for this group. What is your read of sort of the mentality and the feeling around the locker room with that goal in mind, just one game left?
Yeah, so I said to the group there, I said, really proud of the performance. We started in a much better space than we did last week. We dug in when we needed to. It was professional. I said, enjoy the rest, but next week objective is win. I don't care what the results are this afternoon. I don't care what the results are tomorrow. We need to just do what we do. And we just can't be getting fixated on what else is happening. We've had a couple of lifelines this year. We've got to stop relying on that. It's just got to be retuned towards recover and then 3 points next week. So that's the mentality we want, and then hopefully that'll bring with the bye, and then we play semi-final, final. So 3 games is our mindset, and that's what we've got to get after and control it ourselves.
Hey Mike, after tough decisions or just tough results, this team has rebounded really, really well all season. What kind of keys do you think and big things do you see why that has happened all year?
I mean, listen, they're a very resilient group. Resilient group. They're relentless in what they want. They've got a lot of pride in what we do, and when we don't perform or we don't get the results, I think that stings, and it probably does more than sting. It flipping hurts. So I think there's that part. It just makes we rebound. There's experience in the group as well, which I think we lean on. But I think our next growth from this period on is not having to rely on the setbacks and how we produce back-to-back with that same drive and hunger and grit and desire. But yeah, we've just got to lean on a lot of things, but I think it's now how we fuel that on top of a positive performance and a positive result.
Yeah, and I know you're going to be focusing on Angel City, but it's guaranteed to host another home playoff match for this club and for you. How exciting is that opportunity coming up?
Yeah, I'll think about that when we're there, to be honest, Fook. I think, by now, I don't like to get too far ahead. Pretty level guy. Obviously, inside, I'm proud of where we're at right now. But, yeah, we've got next week to take care of, and then we can start thinking about what those emotions might look like, what those opportunities are, and how that feels. So,
Mike, I was wondering if you might speak to Hannah's development as a player throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, I think it speaks for itself, really. When you think of some of the roles that she's played, not dressing, not coming off the bench as a finisher, then starting games, leading the way. So there's that natural progression, and then our impact that she's had starting games, how she's had the durability to get through big minutes, increase her physical output and technical output on the game. So I think she's grown a long way. She'll probably tell you she was there at the beginning of the year. I just wasn't giving her the opportunities, which is fair. But these are the tough decisions I have to make. So I don't want to take anything away from Hannah, because she would tell you she was there at the beginning of the season. So she puts up everything on the line. She works her socks off. And she's an honest player. Like, you know what you're going to get from her. You know what you're going to get from her as a person. So, yeah, that's the best I can probably say.
All right, we have one question online from Steph Young.
Thanks. Hi, Coach. I just wanted to follow up on Olivia. Obviously, she's always been a good player, but it just feels like her growth, like this season, maybe starting last season, going into this one, the way the Thorns have handled her development from such a young age is really, really starting to pay a lot of dividends. Obviously, you're not the only coach she's had. You might have different perspective, but I just wonder if you could reflect on her growth this season as a player and how, she's just been looking like a grown-up player.
Yeah, I think the first thing I would say on that is she hasn't just grown as a player, she's grown as a person. And that's a challenging thing as a teenager. So I think if anybody here knows what teenagers are like, they grow. But trying to grow in this environment, under the pressures that it has, the demands, is huge. And in my time here, close to 2 years, there's definitely been some growth in her as a person. There's been growth in her as a player. But I think it's not by chance. I think, obviously, I walked into the club, there was a plan in place, then had a handle on how that's progressed. But Liv's had a handle on that as well. And she's very deliberate around how she goes around her work. So I think it's a bit of everything, but she's grown. She's still got more growth to go. But I think when you give opportunities at the right time to young players, there's hopefully in the right environment, you're going to see the development that those young players have, and Liv's one of those. But yeah, she's been thrown in at the deep end. At sometimes she's probably being left to be felt hungry and feel a bit short-handed at times, and I think that's all part of the process. But we can't discourage the growth that she's made as a person, because some of the conversations that you have with her, you would never think that she is a teenager.
Is there anything in particular on the field you can point to you think that she's really worked at this season?
Listen, I think she's been disciplined. We've challenged her in the defending work. She wants to be like a free roaming 10. So I would say she's brought a bit of tactical excellence and tactical discipline to her game is probably the piece. And then from there, she can trust that the ball will come to her. Then she can trust and rely on her skill set. But I think that's probably the biggest growth I've seen, or the one that I acknowledge anyways.
Thank you, Coach.
No probs.
All right, we will wrap it there with Coach. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.